Hey, it's Deuce and Mo. This is take two because the first video, I wasn't recording us. I was actually recording the drive, and we spoke for 10 minutes.
Because he doesn't have it in selfie mode, so he can't actually see if the camera's pointed to us. Do you need a check right now? Or should we just talk to nothing for another 10 minutes?
I think we're good. Do you want me to check? Yeah, we're good. Okay, let's talk about the deadline. It is all over. Monty McNair at the last second with the rock. Seconds to go. He launches. Bang! LaRavia. Jake LaRavia coming to the Sacramento Kings in a 3-team deal with Washington and Memphis. A lot of moving parts in this one. The Kings send out Alex Len and Colby Jones and a second-round pick. Len and Jones go to Washington. That second-round pick goes to Memphis. Marvin Bagley goes from Washington to Memphis. Then you've got a first-round pick and Marcus Smart going to the Wizards.
Yes.
So a lot of moving parts, but let's focus on the Sacramento Kings for a second, Morgan, because they needed some size. They needed a wing, and they land 23-year-old Jake LaRavia, 6'7", about 235, 6'9.5" wingspan, who was honestly a nice part of Taylor Jenkins' rotation in Memphis and did some good things this year, but they've got a lot of depth.
Yep.
And the Grizzlies did not pick up his fourth-year option, so they probably felt like they had to get something for him. Why is this a good pickup for the Sacramento Kings?
Well, I mean, one, you saw a Grizzlies team that's kind of desperate with that situation because they didn't pick up his option, and it's a great pickup because it's a wing, and it's a young wing. It's depth. It's someone that can also be long out there, but be along the perimeter, and it's not just addressing a big or a guard for the Sacramento Kings roster. You're starting to fill out the roster a little bit more, and especially in this post-De'Aaron Fox era, where at the trade deadline, getting a big in Jonas Valanciunas, and then getting a wing that has been showing a lot of promise. And look, his numbers to some may not just be eye-popping, but if you watch Jake LaRavia play, he makes winning plays, and that's especially on the defensive end. His deflections go up. He has all the hustle plays. Like, all of his teammates talk about him being that high IQ player, but then on the offensive end as well, he's been efficient, not taking so many attempts, but guess what? Breaking news. The Sacramento Kings have so many players that are going to need all those attempts, that are going to be taking all those shots anyway. But now you have someone that can also get that spray three for you when you need it.
Yeah, the numbers back up. Like, his deflection rate is way better than it used to be. He's very good as a cutter and finishing at the rim. As Morgan mentioned, knocking down threes. And, you know, you read about this article that was just posted by the USA Today the other day talking about the options, about the possibility of trading LaRavia. Dude, his teammates rave about him and his hustle, just doing the dirty work, making winning plays. And this Kings bench desperately needed someone that could make winning plays, but someone that can have a little versatility to their game. Like, the ability to knock down shots, the ability to be big and finish at the rim, and then guard a little bit and do the dirty work. So I think it's a great pickup for Sacramento. And you start looking at their bench, all of a sudden, a bench that looked like a weakness. Well, you don't have to lose Trey Lyles at the deadline.
Yes.
You add Valanciunas, who's going to play tonight against the Blazers and make his debut. You got LaRavia, Keon Ellis, and Devin Carter. It's a legit 10 you got there. It's improved, and I think that's what matters. They got better.
That's it. Because you look around the NBA and how many teams did not improve at the trade deadline, how many teams did not make the necessary tweaks that they needed to make. And I think sometimes there's so many fans that go, if you don't get Jimmy Butler, if you don't get Kevin Durant, if you don't get one of these big names, you know, are you really getting better? What's Jake LaRavia? What is he at? And it's like, this is how you construct a roster, a team, the right way, making sure you're getting valuable pieces that can actually make an impact when they're out there. Go back a couple of years to the Kessler-Edwards trade deadline, where it was the tweak they were trying to make. It was low risk, but at the same time, it wasn't going to be the impact that you needed. This will be instant impact with both Jonas Valanciunas and Jake LaRavia.
Now, it's worth noting with Jake LaRavia, his contract situation. He's a free agent after this year because the Grizzlies did not pick up his fourth-year team option.
Yes.
And as Bobby Marks noted, because of that, the Kings are actually limited as to what they can offer him next year if they want to bring him back, to about $5 million. So that could complicate things. And that's probably the reason they got him for what they got him for, is because of that situation.
Yes.
But if you're Monty McNair and you're looking around going, we got to like improve the bench, we need some shooting, we need some size, we need the guy that makes the hustle plays. You don't really give a shit about tomorrow. You need to worry about today.
Well, but not only that, though, you didn't have to give up any players that you were going to be utilizing within your roster. And I say that with Alex Len because you now had Jonas Valanciunas. So you were already going to be done with that situation. And then you look at someone like Colby Jones, great human, by the way. Love the way that he's been playing in the G League. It's been so fun to watch. Just such a nice guy. But I also think the Kings, you look at the situation they are at with the roster, he was never going to find his way in with the Sacramento Kings roster. I know he played a few times for garbage time. But still, him getting more opportunities somewhere else, I think is going to be so much better for him as well. My whole point to this is these are two players you weren't even going to utilize, so even in the future. So it's good to see that the Kings didn't have to give up the future.
And again, utilizing some of the second-round picks that they got over last week to make things happen for players now.
That's the point.
I like it. I mean,
those assets.
Look, it's not ideal when you have to face a deadline where you got to move De'Aaron Fox, but I think in the grand scheme of things, you add Zach LaVine, who I think offensively can give you some different looks, and I think once he gets comfortable with the players he's on the team with now, he's going to be able to do some special things, and he will help them as a three-point shooter too for a team that has not been a good three-point shooting team.
Yes.
And just as pure athleticism, I think you're going to see that shine a lot.
I was going to say, we got excited, mostly you, but we got excited at the beginning of this Kings season, looking at even just the addition of DeMar DeRozan and being like, okay, if the Kings won 46 last year, then imagine what they can do with this type of player, this caliber of player, just another guy that can get a bucket. Wasn't going the way that you wanted it to go. My whole point to this being, right now, looking on paper with these tweaks and what the Kings did and added and putting these guys in new situations and new roles, it looks good. How it comes together right away, well, that will be on Doug, that will be on the coaching staff, and that will be on how quickly these guys can really just get things going together and find that chemistry and find that flow on the floor.
So let us know in the comments, how do you feel about the Kings trade deadline? How do you feel about Jake LaRavia? Do you think the Kings are better than they were 2 weeks ago? Are they slightly better? Are they worse? Slightly worse? Where do you weigh in? Where do they stack up in the Western Conference after this deadline of adding LaVine, Valanciunas, and now Jake LaRavia, losing Herter, who wasn't really playing much, De'Aaron Fox, Colby Jones, Alex Len, and never forget number 91, CD Sissoko. Let us know in the comments below. And also, what should they do? They've got 3 roster spots left. I imagine Isaac Jones will get one of them.
Deuce is not done.
I forgot about this. Isaac Jones will get one of them. Then the buyout market. Who's out there? Ben Simmons? He's out there. He's not coming to Sacramento. But any ideas, let us know in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe.